Hi everyone, I'm Mr. S. Today we'll start our first lesson in Unit 2, Canada, the United States. Let's jump right in. To start, we'll focus on the basics of Canada. So, how did people first arrive in Canada anyway? Well, it's most widely believed that the first people to arrive in Canada came over from Asia thousands of years ago. How did people get to North America anyway? Well, the prevailing theory is that during a little ice age, the freezing of ocean water exposed a strip of land between modern-day Russia and Alaska. This was called the Bering Land Bridge, and most scientists believe that the ancient travelers crossed that land bridge following mammoth, bison, and other migratory animals to hunt for food and skins. An alternate theory that has gained traction in the last few years is that these people traveled by primitive boats across the same area and disseminated throughout the western areas of Canada and the United States by boating down along the coast. Either way, when Europeans discovered and explored North America, the native people that they encountered were the direct descendants of those early travelers. In the 1600s, French travelers settled in the area of eastern Canada now known as Quebec. English settlers settled along the Atlantic coastal areas in the modern United States, and for the next 150 years they would engage in a power struggle with the French for control of these new territories in the US and Canada. In 1763, the English would prevail over the French in a war that would cause France to cede nearly all of its North American territories to England. The majority of all modern Canadians are descendant of one of those three early settlers, the natives, the French, or the English. As of 2020, Canada has an approximate population of 38 million people. Of those, 80% live in urban areas, while 20% live in rural areas. Urban means within a town or a city, and rural means in the countryside. Modern geographers will sometimes divide Canada into 5 regions. The first of those is the Atlantic region. This is the easternmost coastal area of Canada, including New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia. Most people here are descended from English settlers, and English is the primary language spoken. Traditionally, people in this region have made their living fishing commercially, but this has given way as limits have been placed on fishing. An emerging industry in this region is forestry, logging for lumber and paper production primarily. The climate in this region is defined as humid continental, meaning that it is fairly mild with wet winters. The second region is the core region. This eastern region covers a large area that encompasses the provinces of Quebec and Ontario, ending with the Hudson Bay to the north and the Great Lakes in the south. In Ontario, English is spoken far more than any other language. French ancestry has led to many, if not most people in Quebec speaking French as their primary language. Officially, Canada recognizes both languages as official languages. This area is where the bulk of manufacturing in Canada occurs, as well as 1/3 of all farm products being produced here. The southern part of this region is also humid continental, but it gets colder the further north you travel. The third region is the Prairie region. This area is the vast grassland area of the Canadian Central Plains. This includes the provinces of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. While most people in this region speak English, there were large numbers of European settlers from France, Germany, and even the Ukraine here. The plains of this region are home to about half of the farms which raise grain and livestock. There are also many mines in this region which extract coal, zinc, uranium, copper, and nickel from the earth. Massive reserves of oil can be found in this region as well. The climate varies across this land, and the southern part ranges from semi-arid to humid continental. Semi-arid means that it is somewhat dry, receiving about 10 to 20 inches of rainfall per year. The northern part of this region is subarctic, which means it has long, very cold winters and short, cool summers. The next region is the Pacific region. This is the western area along Canada's Pacific coast, and it encompasses the mountainous province of British Columbia. The Pacific region is home to many immigrants, particularly from Asia. In this region, you might hear Chinese spoken, as well as Punjabi from India, and Tagalog, which was spoken by Filipino residents. English is still the primary language spoken. Much like the Atlantic region, forestry and fishing are dominant industries in the Pacific region. Shipping is another massive industry here, due to the good harbors for container ships. The coastal region has a marine western climate, which indicates mild summers and winters with abundant rainfall. The temperature here is significantly higher than most of Canada during the wintertime. The higher altitudes in the mountainous regions will have more severe winters, however. The last region is the northern region. This massive northern area lies to the north of the provinces and reaches to the Arctic Ocean. It includes the 3 Canadian territories. These are the Yukon Territory, the Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. Nunavut was originally part of the Northwest Territories, but was carved out to be a homeland for the native Inuit people. Most of the residents are of European descent and speak English, and have moved to the Northern Territories as government workers. There is a large native population in this region as well, and many have retained their cultures and languages. The Inuit, for example, still continue to speak their native language in many cases. There are few jobs in this region, and most people live in small villages. Workers often work for the government or in the mining industry. Most of this region is nearly treeless tundra. There are very few plants in the northern reaches of this area. Tundra means that it is extremely cold. Most of the area sits on permafrost, which is an area of permanently frozen ground below the surface. Okay, that's enough for now. Come back next time as we cover the regional heritage and customs of the United States. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss anything, and I'll see you next time.